Hi, this is Regeline Sabat, also known as Gigi, and you're listening to Walk With Me podcast. Joining me today is Lakisha James. She's our keynote speaker for our upcoming global virtual panel of Stillbirth Survivors event. And today's episode is dedicated to her daughter, Joss Elyse. Welcome to the show, Lakisha.
Thank you, Regeline. I am so honored to be the keynote speaker for the Stillbirth event for next Friday, January the 14th, and so honored that you actually put in memory of my daughter that I lost to stillbirth in 2012. So it's definitely has been a journey, and I'm really excited, just to share my story because, like I say all the time, if you impact one person, you've done your job, and that person will impact another, and that person will impact another, and it'd be like a domino effect. So thank you so much, Regeline Sabat, for having me as the keynote speaker. Very honored. Thank you.
Absolutely, you're welcome. Now, we do have a few questions that came in from an anonymous source. The first question is: how do you manage the emotional pain of flashbacks?
That's a good question. The emotional pain of flashbacks, I just cry actually. Just think about the time that we had together and I just really cry. And then after I get finished crying, I feel better. And also knowing that God gave her to me for that moment and then he needed her back because I had a much bigger platform that I needed to share with the world, including, everything else I have going on. But with her, with the stillbirth, I just have a bigger platform to get back to the world to share my story because your voice is your superpower. But I cry. I mean, I still allow myself to do healing because there's different levels of healing. But I allow myself to just still grieve because you never forget, the time that you shared. You'll never forget your baby. And actually, this year she would have been 10 years old. So I just allow myself to grieve. I think that's the best way to kind of get through it. But like I said, you'll never get through losing a child.
Very powerful. Now, the next question is: do you fully detach with the physical being that did not come to the expected full existence?
I would say no because I really feel that she's my guardian angel in the spirit. I really feel her all the time. I do have her remains on my nightstand and I do look at her. I do celebrate her. So I'm still attached to her in the physical being because I mean, she's my baby. I have photos of her in my phone that I periodically look at. And I do celebrate her in the physical being, yes. I still say she's my daughter, even though she's passed on to be with the Lord. I still consider her as my child because we did share that moment together and I did bond with her. So I still celebrate her in the physical realm.
I love it. Now, the next question is: do you still live counting the baby in the number of your children, or you completely erase that pregnancy?
I haven't erased the pregnancy. That's a good question. I do still count my children. I still say she's my second child. I have three, including her, even though she's passed on. She's here in spirit, so I still include her. Even when people ask me how many children I have, I say I have three. But I have a deceased child, but I still say that she's my child because she is my child. She's just not here physically.
Amen. Now, the next question is: what is the best advice not to be defined by the circumstances?
The best advice I would say is not do not blame yourself. It's nothing that you have done. God is still in control over your life, who he brings into the life, who he brings into you, who you are engaged with. So I would say never, never blame yourself for the loss of your child because in actuality she's still here spiritually. She is your guardian angel and it's a reason why she is not here with you. So and still of course go out and do what you need to do in the world because like I said, God took your baby back for a reason. Definitely don't blame yourself.
Amen. She or he, right? Because it could
Such as
be a
she?
male. Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
With the word child can be a girl, a boy, twins. Do not blame yourself. It is not your fault. Nothing that you could have prevented this from happening.
Amen. Now, the next question is: how did you manage to shift living in trauma to see trauma as your teacher?
That's a good question. My trauma, I think, for me, has built a platform. I would say my platform is allowing me to teach other women about the loss, about stillbirth. It's giving me a voice, of course. It's giving me every time I raise my voice, every time I speak about my story, it makes me stronger. And I'm turning that trauma, that negative trauma. It's not, I wouldn't even call it negative trauma. I call it a positive trauma because it's a positive outcome that has come from that. So as a teacher, I just like to talk about my story, letting everyone know it's not your fault. It happens. And even before I had my stillbirth, I heard a lot about, couples losing their baby through stillbirth, but I never thought it would happen to me. But I can't share too much of my story. You'll have to tune into the event for January 14th, which is next Friday of 2022.
I love it. And now the final question here is, what made you take the leap from being the victim of the trauma to hero leap?
I got tired of actually crying, because like I said, never blame yourself. And initially I did blame myself. So I'm able to talk about it now. But allow me not to be the victim. Allow me to be the hero that I am. Just take the hero leap. Like I said, speaking about it makes you a hero. Living through that makes you a hero. Being able to go through all of that, the grieving, the crying, not wanting to be by yourself, not really wanting to attach yourself to people after you've lost that. And even after if when you had a stillbirth, even getting pregnant again, it's hard for you to connect yourself with your new baby. But being able to turn that trauma into something positive will make you a hero in itself.
Absolutely. Very powerful. Lakisha, thank you for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure to tune in. That's next Friday, January 14th at 5 p.m. Eastern to hear more of what Lakisha has to say and her story, and listen in to the other speakers as well who are coming in to share their story and to educate others about this topic, stillbirth. Tune in. This is an event you do not want to miss. And so that's the global virtual panel of stillbirth survivors event on January 14th at 5 p.m. Eastern. Reserve your virtual seat today. You can locate it on Facebook by going to the search engine and type in global virtual panel of stillbirth survivors event. And then also too on Eventbrite. Grab your ticket. It's a free ticket.
Grab your ticket.
Or share it with someone else too that you know may want to learn more about it. Give it to someone as a gift. We'll see
Absolutely.
you there. Thank you.